Hi, I'm Tony Constantine, an investment advisor representative with Lifemark Securities Corp. The views that I share with you today are mine and do not necessarily reflect the views of Lifemark Securities Corp. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the Federal Reserve. We keep talking about the Federal Reserve. Many people don't understand what it is, why it exists, or when it started. Well, during the 1800s, there were several banking crises and economic problems that the federal government decided maybe it was time that the federal government did something about those. We had another crisis, a big panic back in 1907, and after that, the government came up with the idea of the Federal Reserve System. They placed the Federal Reserve Board over the banks to attempt to regulate the economy to some extent, and to regulate the banking system. Okay, the Federal Reserve Board was created on December 23rd, 1913. Their primary function is to try to maintain an equilibrium in economic activity throughout the country. And they do that through interest rates. They control the amount of interest that banks charge one another for overnight loans. And we pay something higher than that. But we're not banks and we don't borrow money just for overnight purposes. Anyway, what they do is they have 12 established regions in the country. And there's a board of regents in each of the regions that collects all the data and analyzes it for their region. Then they send it on to the national board, which analyzes it for the entire country. And they look at everything that's going on and decided whether the economy is going too fast or too slow. If it's going too fast and there's a lot of inflation going on, they raise the interest rates to draw money out of circulation. If it's going too slow, they lower the interest rates to spur more economic activity. People tend to borrow more money when the rates are low than when they're high. Go figure. Anyway, they have to draw in an intense amount of data and go through it to determine what action, if any, they should take, whether they raise rates to slow things down or lower rates to speed things up. Plus, they have to take a look at what's going on internationally, because these days we have one of the biggest economies in the world, and what happens here filters out over the rest of the world, and what's happening in the rest of the world may eventually come back to haunt us here. So we want to make sure that we're doing the right things for everybody in the country and make sure that we're compatible with what's going on with other countries throughout the world. I'm not going to say that the Federal Reserve is perfect because there's no system that's perfect. Economies are like living things. They're continuously changing and evolving. Things happen all the time, whether we like it or not. And we have to be aware of that. That's where the Federal Reserve comes in. They take a look at all the data and make the best decision they can. These are normal people, just like you and me, but they've got a lot more education with regard to economics and banking systems and things like that. I don't have that kind of an economics background. Not all that many people do. It is highly specialized. Do I think the Fed's made mistakes? Probably. Though I can't point to one and tell you why or how I think it was a mistake, but I'm just going on my own pocketbook like the rest of us. My point here is to give you some knowledge about how the Federal Reserve works, why it exists, and what it's supposed to do. They're attempting to create and or work toward a theoretical equilibrium in the economy. How well they do that depends on a lot of things, and I'm not going to tell you whether they're right, wrong, or indifferent. I have my own personal opinions on that. If I were to share them with you, they may be too prejudicial one way or the other. And I don't, the purpose for this video is to be neutral and just impart some information to you, not to point out any flaws or anything like that. But just remember, there's a tremendous amount of information out there. Somebody's got to assimilate it and decide what to do about it. And that's the role of the Federal Reserve Board. I don't envy them their positions because this is a very difficult task. But everybody wants to pay attention to what they do because it's going to affect the market over the near future, however long that may be. I hope this helps you understand things a little bit better. If you have any questions or comments, you can call me or contact me. My contact information will be on screen in a moment. Please come back next week for our next exciting adventure in investing. Until then, make every day a great day.